Well, hello, Facebook. I've decided to do something very special this month. For those of you who don't know, I'm Tiiu, and I am the author of Healing the Holes in Your Soul. And the reason I wanted to come on this particular Sunday is it's the first Sunday of the month, and it's October. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I could go into statistics. I could say all kinds of things about domestic violence because I am a survivor. And that's what this is about. This is my book. It's part of my story, but it's not just my story. It's actually all of the people, okay, maybe not all of them, but some of them who inspired me, and it's their stories. It's the tools that I learned by reading other people's stories and learning from personal experience how I can help other people by sharing mine. That's why I wrote this book. Okay. And I thought, what a wonderful opportunity to bring more awareness to domestic violence because it's an escalating problem, especially right now with what's going on in our world. And if I can even help one person by sharing a book and learning a little bit more about the tools that we all have to help us in whatever challenges we have. And it doesn't mean you have to be a victim of domestic violence. You know, if you've been abused, if somebody's ever bullied you, if anybody's ever said a negative word to you, you know, that's a form of abuse too. And all those things actually will impact us without even really realizing that we're being affected. So, what I wanted to do was once a week, or maybe more, as my soul speaks to me, I'm going to read a little section from my book. And I thought, what a wonderful way to start. Today is actually the 3rd of October, and Sunday is a beautiful time to bring a little more awareness to different little golden nuggets that we all have within us. Today is also, I have to say this, okay, today is also my 1 year anniversary. I have a black belt in Taekwondo, and I'm so thrilled about that. So who knew, you know, that at the age of 67, I'd be able to do that. So really, it is our state of mind and what we choose to do. So I'm going to give you a little nugget on this is actually random selections, and this is what came out today, okay? It's called Chapter 2, Choosing Freedom and Tenacity. That's the topic. I was raised with a very, very strict code, and I believe a lot of it came from the 9 noble virtues of the Vikings. And I added a few to create the 15 steps to your freedom, because freedom really does begin within. When you listen to your inner voice, your gut, your instinct, you really are listening to a higher power. On that note, the topic is tenacity. And I begin every chapter in this book. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. Oops, wrong way. I'll get this right yet. Anyway, here is a quote from Anne Frank. Our lives are fashioned by our choices. First, we make our choices, and then our choices make us. I'm going to read that one more time. Our lives are fashioned by our choices. First, we make our choices, and then our choices make us. That's a pretty powerful statement. And if you know anything about Anne Frank, she was a teenager during the Second World War, and her family went into hiding when the Nazis were taking Jews, and they were putting them in concentration camps. Many of them never returned home. So that's just a little nugget that empowered me when I was younger to realize that, you know, our choices do make us. I wish I would have paid more attention back then, because what I realize today is that I can't blame anybody else for the abuse, for the violence, and for where I went in my life. What I can do is I can thank everyone who ever hurt me. because they each taught me something I needed to learn to be stronger than I am now, or stronger than I was then, and ever growing stronger and becoming more perfect, because we're always going to learn. Nothing ever stays the same. Everything is an energy, and an energy will always change. You know, it will keep on changing. Emotions govern every energy. Words govern our energy. Make sure that what you speak is something positive. And I'll talk about that in another chapter, but here's what I wanted to go with this, okay? What I wrote was North America is a melting pot of immigrants from a myriad of cultures, and many of those immigrants came during World War II. My parents and grandparents and 3 aunts were among the thousands of immigrants that eventually settled in eastern and western Canada. And back in those days, I just remember how hard it was for me, because I was, I'm a baby boomer. And there was so much going on in the world, and there were so many changes that they were teaching us old school. Yet I was in an environment that was becoming more open-minded. We had all kinds of things going on during the 60s and the 70s, and those were the years I was affected the most. Those are the years that were ingraining certain life skills into me. And I didn't know then how life would end up. I didn't know how to make a good choice. There was a lot of stuff I had to learn by mistake. I think we all do. But this is a nugget from my book. And what I wanted to share is that in this book, okay, we not only have choices, and you read some of my stories, you're also going to read stories from people who inspired me. And at the end of each chapter, you ready? I love this part, I really do. Because, here we go. Because it's focus questions. The focus questions are designed to help you write down your thoughts, your feelings. Because when you take them from your mind, blue ink to white paper, it resonates. It creates a different energy. And with that, you also start looking at things a little differently. If you like it, keep it. And if you think there's a little work that needs to be done, maybe talk to me or someone else who you trust. Because more than anything, we always have a choice. And I thought I didn't. Okay? I kept making choices thinking on what was the best for my children and what was the best for everybody else. And I compromised what was best for me. And, that took a long time for me to get to here. And it took a long time for me to get to a point where I could even share that with anyone. To be able to speak about things that happened to me and not be a hot mess with tears rolling down my cheeks. Yeah. And to have the courage to put some of those things that I swore I would never share with anyone in here. But I did. And I won't tell you what they are. I think that's something that everybody needs to find out for themselves. What are we choosing with our life today? And how are we managing what's going on in our world today? Because it is Domestic Violence Month. It's an awareness of what goes on in our world all the time. And it's been going on for a long time, long before me, and it will probably go on long after, unless we speak up and we start saying, hey, no, I deserve to be treated better. Okay? I deserve to be treated better, and I have a right to be heard too. And it doesn't matter where we come from. It really, truly doesn't matter where we come from. What matters is what we look at in our life and where we plan on going. But remember, we only have today. This moment in time is the only thing we have because nothing is guaranteed. We didn't know the pandemic was coming. Nobody prepared us. All of a sudden, there it was, and we have to wear masks, and we can't go to certain places, and there's so many limitations that we didn't have 2 years ago, but we have them now. So on that note, I'm going to keep these little nuggets of knowledge from my book. I got this down to an art now, right? This way. Okay, enough of that. Just be careful what you say. Put positive energy into the world and the universe around you. Everything is really just based on unconditional love. I talk about Dr. Michael Gross in the book because he is the first person that was able to answer my lifelong question. And it's in the book. I'm not going to tell you now. But I'm sure it's on one of the podcast or one of the Facebook Lives that we do on Sundays at 2:00, right? Pacific Standard Time. The man is amazing. What he's taught me definitely woke up my soul and woke me up. I never thought I would write a book, and I never thought I'd be doing any kind of a message like this on social media. So I want to thank you for taking a few minutes to come in and listen. And I really, really, really look forward to doing these random Facebook Lives again, because there are lots of chapters in my book, and there's lots of stories to tell. I'm really glad that you took a minute to listen to my video. Okay? Take care, and always remember, there is nothing more powerful than love. We are made of love, and we have the ability to always bring forth love. Freedom begins in here with a loving heart. So bye for now. Namaste.